Welcome to the 2024 Redbank Valley Veterans Day program. I would like to begin by welcoming our veterans.
Ray Guntram, Army. Larry Bodarf, Army. Floyd Mills, Navy. Robert Fink, Army. Ray Ishman, Air Force. Glenn Neiswanger, Army. Gary Bodarf, Army. Aaron Bish, Army. Leanne Ishman, Air Force. Ron Seifert, Army. Chad Orts, Army. Melvin Lufsey, Army. Terry George, Navy. Ed Huffman, Navy. Leroy Tabler, Army. Clifton Sherry, Army. Pete Barrett, Army. Mike Mazzacco, Air Force. Roger Miller, Navy. Carl Reese, Navy. Tate Allison, Marines. Bill Dinger, Navy. Dennis Smith, Army. Chester Schreckengost, Marines. Ruben Carrillo, Army and Navy. Terry Moore, Army.
At this time, all students and guests, please stand and remain standing until you're directed to be seated. Advance the colors.
Please join me in a salute to our flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Leah Haggard will now sing our national anthem, the Star Spangled Banner.
Stars through the
be seated. I would like to introduce Glenn Neiswanger, Post Chaplain of American Legion, Walter W. Craig, Post 354.
Let us stand. Let us have a moment of silence for all veterans alive and deceased. Amen. You may be seated.
As we come together today in honor and celebration of our veterans, we would like to thank them for their bravery, hard work, and dedication. Veterans Day is a time to reflect on the sacrifices and values they embody: courage, commitment, and resilience. Without these brave individuals protecting our freedoms and ensuring our safety, we would not enjoy the life we now have in this country. We all understand the importance of honoring our veterans on this day, but it is equally important we understand why it is celebrated today. On November 11, 1918, Allied forces signed the ceasefire agreement with Germany, ultimately ending World War I. It was signed on the 11th hour of the 11th day of the 11th month. Today was originally known as Armistice Day, meaning to stand still arms. Later on, in 1954, the holiday was then named Veterans Day, to honor all the veterans that have served in many different conflicts. 3 weeks ago, our school took the 9th grade class to Washington, D.C. for their freshman trip. I kept in mind that I would be speaking today. As I walked through the World War II memorial and looked up, engraved in the wall was a quote stated by President Harry S. Truman. It said, "Our debt to the heroic men and valiant women in the service of our country can never be repaid. They have earned our undying gratitude. America will never forget their sacrifices." I believe that the appreciation and gratefulness that our veterans have earned and deserve can simply not be put into words. But as I saw this, I felt as though it could not have been said any better. I hope we can all learn to live by these words and carry them with us throughout the years. The group of men and women who sit before us today have gone above and beyond serving for our country. We thank those who have served and are actively serving for the courageousness they've set before us. We appreciate you and the alliance you have formed for America. The Redbank Valley School and community is proud to have you. And again, we thank you for the time spent here today and the time you served.
Thank you, Iris. At this time, I would like to recognize veterans that served in different eras of history. Please stand when your era of service is announced. Korea. Vietnam. Kosovo.
Desert Storm. Operation Iraqi Freedom. Operation Enduring Freedom. Students and guests, please join me in honoring these veterans for their service with a round of applause. Thank you.
am here today to introduce to you the speaker of this year's Veterans Day Assembly, Tate Allison. Mr. Allison went to Redbank and graduated in 1993. He enlisted in the Marine Corps in January of his senior year and left for Paris Island, South Carolina in August after graduation. Mr. Allison served on active duty until 2001. When he returned home, he attended Clarion University while serving in the Marine Corps Reserves until 2007. In 2008, Tate became a warrant officer in the Army Reserve and retired as Chief Warrant Officer in 2014. He currently lives in Clarion County with his wife Rebecca and their 4 kids, where he is employed by the Pennsylvania State Police. Please welcome Mr. Allison.
Thank you for the invitation to be here today. It has been more than 30 years since I crossed this stage to receive my diploma. It was good to catch up with some teachers and classmates today. They can understand the irony of me standing on the stage sharing my thoughts with you. There are many great memories with friends here. First of all, I want to thank you for the opportunity to openly express my gratitude for the service these veterans have given to their country. I also want to thank the Veterans Day program organizers and students for their efforts to make the veterans feel welcome and recognized. There are a lot of Veterans Day programs happening today around the country, but this program at Redbank, organized by the next generation of Americans, is very special. On November 11th, 1918, the fighting of World War I ended. At the conclusion of this war, that was known as the War to End All Wars, November 11th became a recognized day of celebration. The day was originally declared Armistice Day in 1926 and honored only veterans of World War I. In 1954, after World War II and the Korean War, it was renamed Veterans Day to honor all veterans who served America in war and defended this country. I am grateful for these individuals that served our country. Our veterans left the comfort of their homes and families and went off to some of the most uncomfortable places in the world, endured grueling training, and experienced great personal loss. Why would people in the prime of their young lives risk death, injury, and personal hardship? I know some of you can't wait to get out of here. I get it. But imagine not being able to come home and back to your families for years, and maybe not ever. You can't bring any of your belongings, and you give up your personal freedom. And you aren't being sent to Disney World. You're going somewhere where people hate freedom enough to want to cause you harm. Our veterans knew they had a responsibility to preserve what past generations of veterans gave them. They were not inspired by individual valor and personal accolades. They looked left and right and across the landscape of this country and decided they wanted to do their part to keep this country free. They were thinking about all of you and your generation. They knew their freedom came with a responsibility to take action. These men and women have served their time, and they continue to serve in their communities. They understand how very blessed we are to be able to exercise our many freedoms. But what these veterans really want is to have their legacy honored by your generation, carrying freedom forward to the generations that will come after you. Freedom requires constant attention and watchfulness. It's not something that can be won and forgotten. President Reagan once said, "Freedom is never more than one generation away from extinction." We didn't pass it to our children in the bloodstream. It must be fought for, protected, and handed on for them to do the same. Military service is a very personal issue. My 4th great-grandfather, Tate Allison, fought in the Revolutionary War. My grandfather fought in World War I, and my dad served during the Korean War. You don't have to serve in the military to be of service to your country, though. Many of you know your mission and have set your path, and others will find your mission along the way. All of you have value and God-given skills and abilities that can be used to serve. All of us want all of you to succeed and find your purpose for good in this world. President Teddy Roosevelt delivered the speech, Citizenship in a Republic, in Paris on April 23rd, 1910. The speech is also known as the Man in the Arena. In the speech, Roosevelt contrasted a person who is heavily involved in a mission that requires courage, skill, and tenacity, such as our veterans, to someone that sits on the sidelines watching the work being done. We should all strive to be responsible citizens. I encourage you to read the full speech to gather the context. It was written more than 100 years ago and still applies today. An excerpt from that speech is my favorite quotation. It is not the critic who counts, not the man who points how the strong man stumbles, or where the doer of deeds could have done the better. The credit belongs to the man who is actually in the arena, whose face is marred by dust and sweat and blood, who strives valiantly, who errs, who comes up short again and again, because there's no effort without error and shortcoming. But who does actually strive to do the deeds, who knows the great enthusiasms, the great devotions, who spends himself in a worthy cause, who at the best knows in the end the triumph of high achievement, and who at the worst, if he fails, at least fails while daring greatly, so that his place shall never be with those cold and timid souls who neither know victory nor defeat. I ask that you honor these veterans daily by exercising the freedoms protected by their sacrifices. They were prepared to handle the responsibility of advancing freedom in their days of service. Young men and women of Redbank Valley, soon it will be your turn to do your part. Take this time while you have these veterans for guidance, and the school and these teachers to prepare yourselves for the issues of your time. Have fun with your friends, and remember, it is important to consider your future and what you will do to be of service to your country and your community. Be bold and step outside of your comfort zone and into the arena as these veterans have. Thank you again for allowing me to share some time with you today, and I look forward to hearing about all the great things you will accomplish. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Allison, for your service to our country and for your inspiring words today. Please accept this plaque as a token of our appreciation. Students and guests, let's thank Mr. Allison one more time with a round of applause. The select choir will now sing Stand with the Brave.
Thank you, Select Choir, for that moving piece.
We will now recognize the branches of the United States military with the band playing Salute to America's Finest, which is a compilation of the anthems or hymns from each military branch. Veterans, active military guests, and recruits, please stand during your service song.
United States Army, the Kazon Song.
United States Navy Song, Anchors Away. United States Coast Guard Anthem, Semper Paratus. United States Marine Hymn, The Halls of Montezuma. United States Air Force Song, Off We Go. Thank you, Ms. Ondish and band.
John F. Kennedy once said, "Ask not what your country can do for you, ask what you can do for your country." Sitting on this stage today are some of America's bravest men and women who have taken that quote to heart. and given the ultimate sacrifice to their country, risking their lives to give us the life we know. We should all be thankful for these proud men and women for the sacrifices they have made, not just on Veterans Day, but every day. Today, Mechlin Shakely Veterans Center was unable to make it, but we will still be donating the $250 on behalf of the Redbank Valley FFA.
As we conclude our program, please stand and remain standing for the playing of Taps by Joey Bryson. Retire the colors. Please remain standing.
And salute.
Please be seated. Thank you, veterans and guests, for attending our program today. Please join me in thanking them once again while they exit the stage. Students, please remain seated until your grade is dismissed.